Hello there everybody, my name is Roy and I am the owner of Chime. I specialize in the repair and restorations of just about anything Telecron powered, including Revere clocks, and I've been doing this since 2005. Now today marks the 5th day of what I call the Connor Project. And you're probably asking yourself, well, what is the Connor Project and what happened to the other 4 days? So let me explain to you about what happened with the other 4 days. You know those little stupid cards, those memory cards, those little mini tiny memory cards? Well, I had it full of all kinds of great content, okay, for the last 4 days about this particular clock, and I went to put it in the camera and it went in incorrectly and somehow or another it just fell inside the camera. So all of that video is now gone. So I had to go out and get another card. Okay, $40 for this stupid thing, $40. And that other card is just flopping around inside the camera. So the Connor Project revolves around this particular clock I'm going to show you here. Now sorry, that's the best picture I could come up with. I actually had to take it off of Connor's YouTube channel. But anyway, this particular clock belongs to a young kid by the name of Connor Plyler. And Connor, please don't take offense if I keep referring to you as the kid, because at my age, anybody under the age of 45 is actually a kid. Okay, so this particular project goes back several months, even back into March, and this is June right now. This is June 13th, 2021. So I've been working with young Connor on this since March. So let me explain to you who Connor is and what he has. He did a little bio here, which I'll read you real quick. He says, "My name is Connor Plyler. I'm 16-year-old and I started collecting clocks about 6 months ago. I started with a German triple chime movement dated back to 1974. I got that clock for $40. Since then, I've decided to get my great-grandmother's mantle clock working, which he did. Congratulations to you on that. And I've decided to buy this particular Revere R-953 for an undisclosed amount on eBay. I won't even tell you what this poor kid paid for this clock. This clock has seen much of the worst of times, being dated back to the early 1950s, and with that comes some wear, which I will tell you is a total understatement, which shows its true age. I have autism, and the sounds of the chime rods fascinated me as I started to gather clocks for my collection. I now have 5 mechanical clocks and 1 alarm clock in my collection, and I hope to have my own museum of timepieces in a matter of time." The only redeeming quality on this clock is the fact that the rotor is still good. Connor's run this clock for quite a while and it's kept perfect time and chimed correctly. So, I mean, that was one big issue that we didn't have to worry about. What you want to pay closer attention to is the finish on this clock. Take a look at it. I mean, it is totally deteriorated. It was so bad that if you just rubbed your fingernails across the top of the clock, the finish would just flake right off. There was no saving it. The more I worked with this wood, the worse it actually got. It got to the point where I just had to remove the entire finish and start a new finish from scratch. Now, check this out. What Connor is holding is one of the chime rods, and this is what happens when these clocks are improperly packed for shipping. If those rods aren't supported correctly, it's pretty much a guarantee that the long rod on those are going to break right off. Watch as Connor turns this clock. Look at the sides on this. You can actually see how much of the finish was just totally deteriorated. When I took the movement out of this clock, I did a very close inspection of it, and I can tell you with 100% certainty this clock has never seen any service. Okay, so that's where I left off for the past 4 days, and here's where we're at now. So I did get the movement totally cleaned. It's spotless. I mean, I even go as far as cleaning the little U-clips, the nuts, the washers. I mean, everything gets spotlessly clean. And one thing I want to point out about these particular movements is that these are not like spring-driven movements where the gears are held into place by 2 plates. You know, they're sandwiched in between. The reason why you just can't go and slop oil on these and think you fixed it is because of the fact that most of the parts on this, like all of these parts here that you see, this, okay, and I just set some of the parts on there, all of these run on posts. Okay, so you could, when I take this off, you'll see you have a post here. Here's another one, okay, post, and another one over here, and you can see there's a post also. These posts have to be absolutely spotless to get all the old oil out. Not only that, but you have to clean the inside, okay, of all of these gears. These all have to be polished on the inside by hand in order to get all the old oil out and everything else like that. So, you know, people that just go and put oil on these movements and think they did a great job, doesn't work. All they're doing is making the problem worse. The only way to correctly oil one of these movements is to take it apart like I did, clean every single piece, and then start from scratch and re-oil it. Over here, this made me laugh. This is a typical grandpa repair job here. This cheesy ass power cord. Look, it's got an on-off switch. Okay, clearly he took this off of some sort of a table lamp or something. But you know, and again, the 2-minute repair. Just go ahead and wrap it up with electrical tape, and you can see this electrical tape. Never a good idea, folks, because electrical tape does dry, and look, it just peels right off very easily with no effort. One redeeming factor I did notice about this is the dial. This dial is exceptionally clean. Typically these dials will show some loss of the black on the numbers or a loss of the silvering, so they'll be spotty. But this dial really is in very, very good condition, and it'll make a big difference on the finished clock. Hey, you're not supposed to be in here. Can't you find someplace else to rest? Huh? So let's get back to the clock case, because I really want you to take a good look at this. You saw on Connor's video what the condition of the case looked like, and again, like I said before, I had to strip this down to bare wood. Now, most people, what they would do on this is they would just go ahead and apply some stain to it, and then take a little bit of Howard's feeding wax and rub it on there, and you know what? You'd probably get some good results. But this particular clock, and all the clocks I do, I use an old-fashioned method, an old traditional method of woodwork. It's called hand rubbing, and what that is that it's applying oils to the wood, letting the oil saturate into it, and then you just put layer after layer after layer of oil on there, and you have to sand it in between the coats and then start again, okay, in order to achieve this. And what you do is that you continue to add oil to this over a daily basis until the clock just won't take any more oil. But you can see the results on this. Okay, you know, I mean, just absolutely beautiful work. Lily, she went and she repainted all of this black area, okay, here on the sides, and I just got done running oil with a Q-tip in there to bring it out a little bit. But you could just see how beautiful this particular clock is. It just shows all the graining, just wonderful. Look at that. And it's not done yet. I still got a little bit more work to do on this, but I should have it done by tomorrow. If anybody's interested in what oil I use on these movements, I used this Horace Whitlock's. This is a premium synthetic clock oil because it says so right there on the bottle. And check that out. Huh? There's a picture of Horace right there. A little out of fashion, and I think he's a little bit drunk. But the reason why I like to use this oil is because, just like I mentioned before, there's a lot of posts on this clock, and this oil stays right where I put it. So when I go ahead and I oil these posts, the oil does not drip down and puddle at the base. It stays right where I put it. Okay, so I'm going to see how much of this I could get back together. And we're going to start with this little lever right here. All right, everybody, welcome to day 6 of the Connor project. So let's do a quick update here. The case is finally done, okay? Not only that, but I got the new chime rods in there. I don't know if you could see them or not. And I also freshened up the bottom of the case with a little flat black paint. These hands, they're supposed to be brass, but 1951, Korean War, probably a brass shortage. As you can see, they're actually made of steel. I had to go strip these down, repaint them. The bezel on here, the brass bezel, this is brass, by the way. I think it was brass. Yeah, that's brass, definitely brass. So I cleaned, polished it, re-lacquered it, 4 coats of lacquer on that because these bezels do take a beating, being wiped down all the time over the course of time. Rotor ready to go. And here I have Grandpa's fine rewiring job taken off there, and I'm going to file this for future use. You just never know. There we go, right where it belongs. Okay, movement completely assembled. All I have to do is put the rotor and the coil on and start testing. So I'm hoping at this point I can have the movement in the clock, see if it's going to run, see how the chime and the strike are going to work, see if it's going to need any adjustments, and we'll take it from there. All right, so I air tested the movement. I spun those hands around for about, I don't know, 12, 13 hours, and I just got done putting it in the case here. So here comes the real test, see what it's going to sound like. Let's go ahead and plug it in, and I can't remember, did I stop at 215 or 315? I don't remember. We'll find out here in a moment. So this first one should be the 3/4 hour. Here we go. One more time, one more time. Four o'clock. I'm liking it so far. Matter of fact, I feel confident enough to put the rest of this case together. Let's take a look at this finished clock. Let me shut these fans off. There we go. Oh, much better. I am very, very pleased with the way this clock came out. Just beautiful. And you know what, Connor? This is your first Telecron powered clock, your first Revere clock. I think this is something you could be very proud of owning, and I hope it gives you many, many years of pleasure. Take a look at that. It was actually more work than I anticipated. Obviously, you saw I had my ups and downs with this thing, but I think it was definitely worth it, and I'm very happy to give it to you like this. Now the clock might be done, but we're not done with the clock. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the test shelf. We're going to run it for a week, make sure that it's going to keep proper time and chime correctly. And then at that point in time, Connor, I'll be in touch with you and we'll get this clock back to you very soon. And again, everybody, I want to thank you for taking the time and watching this video all the way through. I hope you found some of this information to be informative, and I look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.